All right then, so let's start customizing the right bar container over here. So inside this right bar, as we have a look over here, we need to bring this user button and we need to bring this artist and these kinds of different buttons over here, right? So let's go ahead and bring all those options inside the right bar container. Where is our, let's get inside the main, and this is the place. And this is the place where we need to bring our user profile section. And admin actions, and this is for premium users, right? These are the things that we need to bring inside our right bar. So over here I'm going to create a design. So basically this login actions, so if we have the user object, we need to display the user profile, or else we need to bring this user button, so where the user can click and log in, authenticate himself to authenticate inside our website, right? So over here, so let's create a div. I'm just going to create a design. Later we can customize those design according to the objects what we have in our hand. So class name, I'm going to make this width as 12 and height as 12, and it should be rounded full, and bg neutral, neutral 400 or something. It's better 600. It's just anyways, it's just a background color. So cursor pointer and flux, everything inside this, it should be flux item center, justify center, and the position, it's going to be the relative position. Relative, it should be relative, so keep it in mind, it should be relative. Now you can see we have a nice circle where we can display the profile image of the user inside this divisions. Inside this division only, we need to bring the image of the user, image of the authenticated user, or the first letter. Not every user will have themselves a profile picture, so it's better to keep their first letter as the profile picture. Now if the user is not there, then what we need to do, we need to bring a button which is going to display like this, so the user can authenticate himself to get into our website. So I'm going to create this button as a button component, and it should be a reusable component, right? Because later in our project we need to use the button component quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a button. This is a component which we don't have yet, so let me create a new component inside here, button.tsx sfc, and let's create a button, and let's keep it as a div, and let's keep it as a button. And let me go here and let me import that button. Where it is, here it is. Now let's import it. Now we can see we have the text as over there as a button, right? So now we need to go and start customizing the button classes, right? So basically this button is not going to be just like any other reusable components which we created so far. Basically this button is going to have all the inbuilt properties which we are using for our default HTML button element, right? Just like the same way we need to create this component as a reusable, and as the same way it should have all the default properties for button. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create an interface. Let's keep it as a button props. It should extends react dot button HTML attributes, and it should take the type as HTML button elements, like this. Then open and close the empty object, right? Let me make it a big screen so that you can see. All right, okay, so now what I need to do is, after this button, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create I'm going to delete all these things. We don't need this. I'm going to delete this. Okay, so I'm going to create a forward ref. So keep in mind, forward reference, it's coming from the React package. Make sure that it's coming from there. Then supply the type. Type is, of course, it's going to be the HTML button element, and for that we're gonna bypass this props which we created. So make sure that you added the comma over there, right? Then open the bracket. Okay, so here now what we need to do is I need to call a callback function, right? we need to call a callback function, and inside this function, of course, this is going to be an object, and as well as this is going to pass a reference. Okay, so over here, now what we need to do is, for this we need to get the class name property, and all right, so we need to extend the properties, default properties like class name, then we need to get the children properties, then we need to get the disabled, the button needs to be disabled until certain action is done. Then type, of course, we're going to keep the type as button by default, button. And at the end, we need to get all the remaining properties, props. We need to get all the default props from there. All right. And then inside here, we need to return. Okay, now we need to return what we need to return a default button. Okay, we need to return a default button. Inside this button, we need to render the children, whatever we are sending it from the front over there, and we need to get all the, by default we need to get the type as type. Then we need to get the class name, and I'm going to use the Tailwind merge function, and I'm going to supply the default classes for this. Of course, width is going to be full, rounded it's going to be medium, and BG emerald 500, and it's need to have border, and border I think we don't need border, so let's remove the border. And PX it's going to be 3. Then let's keep it border, but we don't need to give the color by default. Later we can just give the border color, we can do some customizations if we need the border alone. Then PY is going to be 3, and disabled, on disabled we should not allow the cursor, so cursor not allowed. Okay, I written padding 2 times. Okay, and after that, and on disable, button opacity should be 50%. That's how the button opacity should be. Then font should be bold, text should be black by default. On hover, opacity should be 75%, and the transitions all should be smooth. So these are the default styles, and along with that, we need to customize, we need to override with our own custom classes whenever we are using it, right? And by default, the button display name is going to be button dot display name, it's going to be button. This is how, whenever you are using the button component, this is how it's going to display the button name. Okay, so save these changes. All right, now you can see we have the button alone. Okay, I think we do have some button border by default. What I'm going to do is, I don't need any outline, so let me keep the outline, and by default the border should be transparent. Yeah, that's how it looks. All right, now you can see we have a nice button over there. For that, then let's go to our main container back over here. We have the button alone, so I'm just going to bring, instead of keeping this button as a self-closing tag, I'm going to supply some content inside here, right? What we can do, this is supposed to be a user button. If the user is not there, we need to get the user, right? So I'm going to bring the icon as for user from the React font awesome icons. Then the size of the icon is going to be 20, and the class name it's going to be text black. Save these changes. That's how it looks. Okay. All right. Now the button is looking good. Next, we need to bring the icons for the admin actions, right? We need to bring the icons for the artist and for the songs. So here I'm going to make sure this href is equal to /artist. This is the route. Whenever I'm clicking it, it should be navigate. Then class name, bg it's going to be transparent, and px it's going to be 2, py it's going to be 2, And inside this link tag, I'm going to bring 5 users from font awesome 6. Let's copy this and then let's change the name. Users. And the text color, it's going to be neutral 400. And the text is going to be 2XL. Save these changes. That's how it looks. And let's copy this and paste it one more time. This is going to be BS music note list, I think so. Yes, BS music note list. And this is going to be the socks. Save the changes. That's how it looks. And at the end, we need to bring one more option. That's for the subscription. If the user is already subscribed, then we need to display a different subscription option. If the user haven't subscribed yet, we need to display this option like GoPro. The user needs to subscribe himself to listen to the music, ad-free music in our website, right? So let's go ahead. Over here, I'm going to create a div class name, and that is going to be flex column, and everything should be in the item center and justify it in the center. And gap y, it's going to be 2, and margin top, it's going to be autumn, which means from the top it should be automatically pushed to the bottom of the screen. Then the position is going to be the relative. Enter. Inside here, I'm gonna bring GI Imperial Crown. This is the icon that I'm looking for. Then size of the icon is going to be 24. Then class name, it's going to be text white. All right. Then inside here, I'm going to create a paragraph, and I'm going to say go. And inside here, I'm going to bring one more span tag. Then I'm going to say go pro, something like that. So that should bring the icons over here. You can see that. Let's go ahead and customize this paragraph tag. So it should wrap the white space. White space should not wrap automatically to the next line. So remove the white space, no wrap. Text neutral 400, and the font, it's going to be the normal, and text is going to be the LG. And for the span tag, class name, text is going to be the white. Save these changes, and now we can see automatically it's displaying like GoPro option, right? So now we have all the necessary elements inside our right bar. All right, so we have all the necessary elements in the right container. Then all we have to do is to go ahead and start doing the authentications along with the Supabase and all those things. Then we can move on to the next chapter.